Hello everyone, I'm Lizard. Today I'm gonna be covering the golden rules for endgame crafting in Last Epoch. So I'm gonna go over some of the things that for 99% of the builds you always wanna keep in mind while building your characters, specifically when focusing on your suffixes and some of your defensive prefixes. Alright? So this is mainly a video on how to approach defenses without doing something really stupid, and having these rules in mind and always keeping this in mind will make your builds and your efficiency building your characters way better. I see a lot of people not following these rules, even veterans. So I'm gonna try to focus the things that you should 100% never break, basically. Starting off, the first thing I want to say is, obviously this is bound to change because the meta changes, the items changes, the game's still alive. But as of today, for patch 8.2, and as long as nothing dramatically changes, 8.3, the current meta right now relies on building as tanky as possible, mainly by building as much HP as possible and then stacking all the other layers of damage reduction that you can get, even if that's armor, that's block, that's dodge, or that's endurance, right? So knowing that, the best thing and the first thing you gotta learn is how do I maximize building HP on my character. In the current meta, any character, doesn't matter what character you're building, should have at least 2000 HP. Some characters like Druid, like Sentinel, you're gonna reach 4,000, 5,000. But if you follow these rules, you're gonna see that your baseline HP for all your builds is gonna increase to that 2k, 3k mark, which is, well, where you wanna be in order to do competitive content. So what are those rules? We're gonna focus on increase health, hybrid health, and vitality. These three you always want to have on all your characters, and these three are the most important ones you want to focus on because you can't get them everywhere. Those nodes are really valuable and you can only get them in specific places. Vitality you can only get on your helmet, your chest, and your boots. So as long as your build doesn't require specific prefix, like because you're playing a skill that requires plus skills or something like that, you're always want to have these bad boys line up, okay? Always. This is gonna give you a bunch of HP. Remember, this is a really safe way to get HP because the rolls are always basically guaranteed to roll really well. You know, minimum roll you're gonna get 70 HP, maximum is gonna be 80. Again, minimum is gonna be 100 HP, maximum is gonna be 120. And if you get exalted, it's even more. So it's a really good way to get that chunk of HP. Again, we're just sitting at 1.3, literally just by building this vitality. Going next, increase HP. We can get increased HP on our helmet, on our chest, and on our belt. Always. On these three pieces, you wanna get increased health, right? Increase health and increase health. Always. Every build. Right? And again, just like that, we're almost reaching that 2k mark. And then the last one, hybrid health. We can get hybrid health on belt, boots, and gloves. So again, health. You always want to have that hybrid health, which is really nice. It's a really nice affix. Hybrid health. And the belt, you always want that dual health, increase health combo, right? And just like that, you have your health. As long as you do this on all your characters, you're always gonna reach this amount of HP, which is kind of like the baseline, in my opinion, to have a character that is solid. The reason you want to do it this way is because obviously you have to build your resistances, you have to build your crit avoidance, and you have to build your endurance. And this is going to bring us to our next rule. Where do I want to build resistances? Where do I want to build crit avoidance? Where do I want to build endurance? Well, it's very simple. You want to build those, the places where they're not taking the slot of something useful. For example, on a helmet, you never want to get the resistances. You never want to get crit avoidance. Why? Because the helmet has places for things that you can't get anywhere else. For example, increased armor. Increased armor you can only get on your boots, on your chest, on your helmet, right? Increased dodge, same thing. If you're building a dodge character, you're gonna be able to build increased dodge on certain places that you can't build somewhere else. For example, on your boots, right? You can get percentage dodge on your boots, but you can't on your helmet. Same for armor, right? You can get crit avoidance, for example, right? But you don't want to get crit avoidance on your helmet or on your boots, because look at what happens if you go to your rings. Let's try to check that dodge, percentage dodge. Oh, there's no percentage dodge. Let's check armor. There's no percentage armor. So the best way to get your endurance, the best way to get your crit avoidance, it's always going to be your rings. Because on rings you're not missing, you're not going to be missing on those like key slots that you wanna have. You don't want to have crit avoidance on your belt, because then it means you're either giving up increased health or hybrid health, right? So when you're crafting your characters, basically have that mindset of, if I have my crit avoidance on a place where you want to get this key, like HP nodes, your item is basically garbage, right? Or it's basically a placeholder, right? So keep that in mind. Other slots that you always want to leave free when you're crafting: gloves, relic, and amulet. Why? Because frailty, which is really useful, and armor shred. You can get frailty on your relic, right? But you cannot get armor shred on your relic. You can't get armor shred on your relic, but on your gloves you can, right? Get armor shred. And same for your amulet. And armor shred is a really good way to get damage in this current patch, so you always want to get those armor shreds. So again, these are things that you always have to keep in mind. Never waste slots on your amulet for resistances. Never waste crit avoidance on your boots or your gloves or your belt or your helmet. And try to keep this in mind when you're building characters. Try to use base resistances from items like Bone Amulet, like Urgent Crest. Other classes are going to have other bases that come with a lot of resistances. And if you can fit in Coral Rings on your build for even more HP, because they come with Vitality, even better. Again, you also have to get your endurance. In my opinion, the best way to get endurance on all characters as of today is very simple. We're gonna have the base Engraved Gauntlets endurance base, and then you want to have the Spirits of Fire endurance empowered blessing. Okay? If you get a high roll, you're gonna cap your endurance. For crit avoidance, you can do the same. You know, let's just say you're playing something like Marksman, where you already have like 35% crit avoidance. Well, getting the lovely crit avoidance blessing, right? It's gonna cap you on crit avoidance. It's gonna open up suffixes for you to build HP or to build something else. Another exception that you have to keep in mind: if you're playing a block character, you can only build block chance on your rings and on your gloves. So make sure that you're leaving those slots open to build your bluff chance without giving up your hybrid healths, your percentage healths, and your vitalities. And as long as you keep these very basic concepts when building a character, you're gonna see that your EHP is gonna go up by quite a bit. And well, I probably will expand on this pretty soon, but I thought this was a good introduction, and I wish you guys a lot of luck, and make sure you follow these rules. Bye bye!